somebody who's there to protect you, somebody who's there in time of trouble, somebody that you can depend upon to call, and that they're going to be there to help you.
Good evening, I'm Carmen Trevorreal.
And I'm Marissa Campitelli. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Do you feel comfortable putting your safety in the hands of your local police officers? According to policeabuse.com, there are nearly 13 undercover investigations every day. That's roughly 5,000 every year. Are you surprised?
Our top coverage tonight. Local police have not been 100% loyal to their oath. Something that has been circulating around the internet lately has been causing quite a stir among people.
We sent our reporter Justin for some personal opinions on police officers. Let's see what they have to say.
Thank you, Carmen and Marissa. I'm about to sit down with a few people and see what they have to think about police officers and whether they think the current law enforcement tactics are effective or not.
That sounds promising, Justin. What do you think their opinions are going to be?
In my opinion, police officers don't always obey the law. I think they find shortcuts and other ways to get around situations or scenarios that they're in to turn the tides for them in a better way. I think that police officers should have a harsher sentence than if they were to do something wrong compared to a civilian breaking the law. They take an oath to uphold the law and protect and serve. Let's go see what people have to say. Alex, how do you feel in the presence of a police officer?
Well, that depends. I mean, if I'm getting pulled over for speeding or something, then I'm going to feel uncomfortable because first off, I know I'm going to get a ticket for breaking the law, but also that they might just be looking for other reasons to get me into even more trouble than what they stopped me for initially. So usually I'm pretty uncomfortable around them in uniform because I feel like they're just trying to, get money, write tickets, stuff like that.
Do you believe officers follow the rules?
Most of them, yes. I think most of them work within the law. There's, maybe a select few that are, what would be considered a bad cop or that break the law, but probably not very many.
Do you believe officers are always truthful?
No. I mean, part of their job description, they're legally allowed to lie to do their job. So I don't believe police officers are always truthful in any way, shape, or form.
Now, do you believe that police officers should have a harsher sentence than, say, a civilian that breaks the law? Do you think it would be a more harsh sentence for an officer if he were to break the law?
I think they should have the same sentences. I think too often, more than not, when you see police get in trouble on the news and stuff, even if they are found guilty of whatever crimes, their punishment is usually just, they're put on desk duty for a week, or they're never actually prosecuted for their crimes, and when they are, their sentences are usually way more lenient than what a normal person would get. So I think they should be held to the same standards as civilians, I guess.
Now, do you believe that the camera on the police cars are effective?
Yes, it's better than no cameras. So I do believe the body cams and dash cams do help show the whole truth of what happened in every incident.
So do you believe that all officers should be required to wear a GoPro camera or some sort of camera on their chest at all times?
At all times when they're working, anytime they make a traffic stop, it should automatically turn on, and they should not have a way to manipulate it in any way.
Jackie, how do you feel in the presence of an officer?
A lot of times I feel intimidated. I'm usually not around police officers that often, and I've only been pulled over a couple of times, and I felt a little uneasy.
Okay. Do you feel that police officers always obey the rules?
Oh no. No, I don't. I believe that they don't. They make their own rules.
That'll be the next question. Do you think that officers are always truthful?
Oh no. Not at all. I've had a couple instances with my son that I literally had to call the police department and tell them to quit harassing my son.
Wow.
He wasn't doing anything, but he did one time, he got himself in trouble, and they recognized the car, and then after that, they just kept intimidating him, and they just kept following him. And so I had to literally call the sheriff's department and tell them they need to knock it off or I'm going to go a step above them.
Do you think that police officers should have a harsher sentence than, say, a civilian if they were to break the law?
No, I don't think so, because it's the same, they're human, and they're a civilian when they're not in the uniform, so they should have the same sentence.
Now, do you believe that the dash cam on the police's car is effective?
Oh yes, I believe so. Yes, they definitely have to have that, because there are a lot of people out there that don't abide by the law, and at least if they have it on the camera, if they do something wrong, then they know that what that person's done.
Do you think it should be mandatory for police officers to wear a GoPro camera or camera on their chest at all times?
Yeah, I do. It could probably save their lives, and if everything's recorded, maybe they'd stay a little more honest.
Wow.
I can't believe Jackie's son was harassed like that. I'm glad she called the chief of police.
I'm surprised that more people didn't think that police deserve harsher sentences for committing crimes.
That's insane.
Policing in the United States actually began in Boston in 1676 with what was called a night watch, which was a volunteer-based security system, and it wasn't very effective. Guards often slept or drank on duty. Probably not too much different now, I would say.
The first day watch wasn't created until 1833 in Philadelphia. This is around the time when officers started getting paid for being on the force. However, in the South, things were a little bit different.
Southern police officers were initially titled Slave Patrol, and their main duties were keeping slaves in line. After the Civil War, these officers were in charge of controlling freed slaves and enforcing Jim Crow laws.
The major thing that called for an increase in security around the 1800s was that cities kept expanding and more security was needed to enforce the laws that had been set in place.
But the creation of the police force actually wasn't a response to rising crime rates. Mostly the officers in the early U.S. had the job of keeping social order rather than stopping crimes.
Historically, things have changed a lot since then, as the U.S. has seen a rising crime rate of up to 70% since 1800. Unfortunately, the creation of the police force hasn't been 100% effective against this.
There have been many situations recently in which police officers have not followed their oath, and in some cases this has led to an uproar and even riots among people. I'm sure you're familiar with the Ferguson case of 2014.
These riots were sparked after the fatal shooting of an unarmed Michael Brown, an African American, by a white police officer on August 9th. Brown was charged with the theft of a few packs of cigarillos and did not make any move to apprehend the officer except to run away. The officer, Darren Wilson, fired several times, killing the young man.
This controversial case spread nationwide, and several riots broke out in the town of Ferguson, Missouri, in backlash against the militarization of police, for-profit police, and even school segregation issues.
There have also been several similar cases of police misconduct involving extortion, bribery, and other serious offenses. All of these crimes are in violation of the police oath that each officer must take before taking to the streets on patrol.
This is the oath that each officer must recite before being sworn in.
On my honor, I will never betray my badge, my integrity, my character, or the public trust. I will always have the courage to hold myself and others accountable for our actions. I will always uphold the Constitution, my community, and the agency I serve.
Is fired after he disobeyed his oath when lying about an incident that occurred when he stopped and arrested Sandra Bland, a 28-year-old African-American woman, for failing to use her turn signal. Videos show that the officer, Brian Insignia, forcefully escorted Bland out of her car after tension arose following the lighting of a cigarette. Sandra Bland was ultimately arrested after a violent assault.
I thought this officer swore to never betray the public's trust. So much for integrity and character.
Exactly what I was thinking, Marissa. The worst part of the entire situation that has people debating all over social media is that Miss Bland was found dead in her cell 3 days after the arrest.
First, why was she there for 3 days even? Why would she hang herself? And how did she get a hold of a plastic bag in a cell? Clearly there are reasons for people to speculate.
Clearly, she didn't make the situation any better by arguing, though he had no right to put his hands on her. Insigne stated that he removed her from the vehicle to further conduct a traffic investigation, but grand jurors found that statement to be false.
In memory of Sandra Bland, the street she was pulled over on, Prairie View, has been changed to Sandra Bland Parkway. About 100 activists, students, and Bland's relatives attended the ceremonies. We'll leave you with a few short clips of some citizens giving their 2 cents about police officers.
So what's one word that comes to your mind when you think of police officers?
Scary.
Protection.
Snitch.
Mixed bag.
Safety.
Drug dog.
Donuts.
Heroes. Safe.
Safety. Friendly.
Security.
Protection.
Honor.
Authority.
Good.
Good.
Yeah.
Pigs.
I don't know about you, Carmen, but this sure has got me thinking twice about what my local police officers could be doing behind the scenes.
Absolutely. So what do you think about law enforcement? Should police officers face harsher sentences for breaking laws?
I'm Marissa Campitelli.
And I'm Carmen Chavarria.
And this has been WJCM World News at 6. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you next time.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
When you think of police officers?
No, not that.
We tried 3 different restaurants, and one of them we couldn't go to because Justin said that he used to work there, so he can't show. Settled on Applebee's, the second Applebee's we've been to tonight, and I'm starving to death, and we haven't gotten any work done. What she looks like on Instagram versus what she looks like in real life. We didn't have any tape or anything to hang the sign up, so Justin chewed a bunch of pieces of gum and it stuck into the wall with gum.
And did not make any move to apprehend the crime. Go ahead, no. Just her Bland out of her car after some tension arose following the lighting of a cigarette. I can't believe Jackie's son was harassed like that. Good for her.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Nice.
What? Forever. Thank you, Cameron.
Oh yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Whether they think the current law enforcement, whether it's their tactics or their
Justin sucks. Okay. No, just keep it going. I'm just gonna. Okay. Wow. I just didn't say anything. What